Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews. I am your host Boyze, and this is WWE Stomping Grounds 2019 review. Let's see if Stomping Grounds can do better than Super Showdown. I know it's not going to be that difficult, but let's see if it can. Before we get started though guys, don't forget to like, subscribe and press that bell so you can keep up to date with all the content here on Smack Talk Wrestling. Now that's all said and done, let's hit the music and let's get on with the review. So first things first, let's start off with that kickoff show match. My god, Tony Nese defending his Cruiserweight Championship against Drew Gulak and Akira Tozawa. My god, this was a hell of a match. If you hadn't seen it, a lot of people I spoke to hadn't even watched the kickoff show, and I was like, you missed one of the best matches of the whole night. This triple threat was absolutely bloody brilliant. All three men just went out and tried to steal the show before the show even started. That's how good that kickoff show match really was. Tony Nese was an absolutely brilliant fighting champion. This is probably the best I've seen Tony Nese as the champion. Then we had Gulak, who for me has been one of the most brilliant cruiserweight wrestlers on the company, and Akira Tozawa was MVP. All the big moves, all the big sequences was going through that man. But we had to crown a new cruiserweight champion, and we did, and it was Drew Gulak. Tony Nese was a great champion, but I think Gulak just is the man who can carry 205 Live to a next level. So for me, I am going to give this cruiserweight kickoff match a 3 out of 5 stars. Fantastic start to the show. The first match of the main card itself was Becky Lynch defending her Raw Women's Championship against none other than Lacey Evans. To be honest guys, this was a decent match. Becky Lynch really impressed me with her selling. This is the best thing about Becky Lynch. She does feel like a next level competitor. The crowd, this is the best thing. The crowd were absolutely fantastic last night, and I will talk about that more when it gets to Daniel Bryan's part of the review. But Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans had a really well worked match. Lacey Evans, she did botch her low a few times, but she's still learning on the job, and to be honest with you, I still think she's much more improved since her debut. She's really increased her abilities in the ring a lot, and I won't lie to you guys, since looking at her last match on the Money in the Bank compared to what she's doing now or at Stomping Grounds, there is huge improvements already for her. Becky Lynch did win though with the disarmer. Lacey really did go for everything. There was this awesome bit where she did try and bend Becky around the post, but it just didn't get to it. But Becky Lynch did retain. A fantastic match in my opinion, a fantastic starting match for the show. So I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Next up, we got a tag team match where we saw the New Day's Big E and Xavier was taking on none other than the best friends in WWE, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This match was a match I really wasn't looking forward to. Like I stated in the predictions video, I was like, this is not going to work. I've seen Sami and KO taking on parts of the New Day so many times. I'm getting a bit bored of it. But my god, they just pulled it out of the bag. This was so much more energetic. There were so many near falls. Honest to God, if you look at how many near falls there was in this match, it just reminded me of like old school kind of WCW, early Nitro's time, where everyone was having near fall after near fall. It's like, oh, and it really got the crowd like biting. Like every time it looked like Biggie. Xavier was like, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens came out of the gates absolutely trying to kill it. Xavier was, Big E got that momentum back, and then finally Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, after a lot of hard work, they finally managed to get the victory. I think it was the right decision as well to give KO and Sami the victory. So for that, and that, it was such a great match, and it had me on the edge of my seats with so many near falls. I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5. Next up, the best match on the main card itself, and it was close between two matches on the main card, but this one was absolutely brilliant. It was Ricochet challenging Samoa Joe for the United States Championship. Wow, this was brilliant. Again, in my predictions video, I stated I know this is going to be good. I know that both men are brilliant workers. Yes, we did have the funniest bit where Ricochet got into the ring and he botched his entrance. That's fine, but the match itself, there was a little few botches between both men, but it didn't matter because the chemistry between both guys. Samoa Joe was just aggressive, dangerous and strong. Ricochet had to use his brain, not just his high flying ability. It just really was a fantastic way to get this, you know, the make everyone focus on their match, and it really did. Samoa Joe, for me, and Ricochet, they need another match. In my opinion, they are, that match was just like, I need more. It's not just a one-off match. I need to see at least one more time at Extreme Rules, especially after Ricochet won the US title. Surprising me, I think surprising a lot of people, but I will say this, it was actually interesting to see the backstage bit more as well, when he got backstage and everyone's there to welcome him, and even Triple H, and everyone went mental seeing Triple H because they were so excited. As well, we also had a funny bit where the Good Brothers and AJ Styles challenged Ricochet to a match the next night on Raw while he was taking photos with his new United States Championship. So for me, fantastic match. Probably the best match of the night on the main card. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. So we had Heavy Machinery challenging Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the Planet's Tag Team Champions, for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. This was brilliant. Now, I was reluctant to, I was like, I'm not sure this match is going to work. You know, Heavy Machinery really haven't done too much. But after this match, I honestly turned around and went, Heavy Machinery are the second team now on SmackDown, and that's all because of Daniel Bryan and Rowan. They put on a great performance. Daniel's selling was absolutely fantastic, and it was this was Daniel's home state, so he was, even though he's a heel, he was babyface, and the crowd really elevated this match, and that's the best thing about it. They made Heavy Machinery feel like heels. If you watch this in a few years' time and not watched any of Daniel Bryan's content before, you know, as a heel, and you just see him going in, you'd think Daniel and Roland were the baby faces going in. The crowd chanting "We Drive Prius, We Recycle" was absolutely fantastic. Daniel Bryan's work on this match was brilliant, and it really elevated Heavy Machinery to another level. Yes, Daniel Bryan and Rowan did win with a small package, which is awesome. I do like it sometimes when a small guy hits the small package on to a bigger guy like Daniel Bryan did in this match. So for me, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Next up, we saw Bayley defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss from Raw, and she was completed by none other than her new partner, Nikki Cross. I thought this was a really good match. Again, this pay-per-view really surprised me on how many great matches we really got out of it. Alexa Bliss and Bayley again have been impressing me on the build up to it. There was not too much, but definitely their chemistry feels a lot better than it has done since the last time these two feuded over a championship. Bayley came across really aggressive at the start, controlling the match until Alexa Bliss started getting things under her own momentum. Soon enough, Bayley started getting more and more momentum to herself, and then, interestingly enough, Bayley tried to do a suicide dive. Alexa Bliss pushed Nikki Cross into the firing line for that. Interesting, will Nikki Cross, I thought, oh, could this be one of the reasons that Nikki might turn on Alexa at some point? But it's the breadcrumbs are going there. Alexa's very much manipulating Nikki and now using her. It looked like Alexa Bliss was going to get it, and Nikki Cross got too excited. Bayley used that as an advantage, and then hit the Bayley to belly suplex and got the victory, retaining her SmackDown Women's Championship. Very entertaining match. I definitely want to see one more match between these two for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So for me, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Next up, we had possibly the match which slowed down the pay-per-view the most, and this was Drew McIntyre versus none other than Roman Reigns. Again, this was a typical Roman Reigns match. I understand what they're doing with Roman. I spoke to some people and they said Roman's, it's very predictable. Others were like, it is predictable, but he's there for selling merchandise, and and for that level, and I understand where they're coming from. I just think with Roman, he didn't need to win this match. I think it should have gone to Drew at first. I think Drew having Shane O'Mac there, distracting, doing everything he could, and he couldn't get the victory yet. Drew only interfered like for a few minutes back in, you know, Saudi Arabia, and Shane got the victory. So that didn't really make sense to me on that part. But yes, Roman did get the victory. It was a typical Superman punch onto Shane O'Mac. We did get C coast to coast by Shane. That was bloody awesome. But after a while, you realise Roman's going to win this. Hit the spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman wins again over Drew. But losing momentum for Drew is ridiculous in my opinion. He should be challenging for titles, and I just feel like this is again disrupting his momentum in the company. So for me, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 stars. Next up, we had the second best match of the night on the main card, and it was for the WWE Championship in a steel cage. Kofi Kingston defending his title against Dolph Ziggler. It should have been me! Brilliant. I absolutely loved it. I loved that we got a steel cage, both men using the steel cage really well. Kofi and Dolph, just chemistry wise. I do hope this is the end of their feud. It should be. I think it should be. Hopefully it is. I think someone like Sami or KO should be challenging next for the WWE Championship at, you know, Extreme Rules, or someone new, just someone to freshen up that, you know, main event scene on SmackDown. But yeah, I just felt like it's time for that to change. But the match itself was fantastic. Both guys did really, really well in this one. Again, I liked the bits where it looked like Dolph was going to get out, walk out at one point. He strolled out. He nearly crawled himself out of there while wrestling Kofi. And then it looked like at the end, he's going to drag himself over. Kofi just runs, leaps over Dolph Ziggler and manages to fall on the ground first and winning the match. Obviously that was just absolutely fantastic. You don't often get to see that type of finish. It was just well put together. Both guys did a fantastic job, and all I can say is Kofi selling on the leg was absolutely brilliant. So for me, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Last but not least, guys, we had the Universal title match where we had a special guest referee. This was Seth Rollins defending his title against Baron Corbin. Corbin getting to choose who he wanted as special guest, and everyone's going, who's it going to be? It's going to hit him, or him. And it wasn't a him, it was a her. It was Lacey Evans, the woman feuding with Seth's girlfriend Becky Lynch. And it was smart because obviously Seth could not attack Lacey Evans, and it was fantastic. It was a really smart move by creative to have Lacey Evans involved in this match. Lacey was doing the slow counts. It was like 5 or 6 times Baron should have been counted out, or, you know, got the free count. Nope, didn't happen. And then she started having stipulations, no count out at first. Then we got the no DQ. She hit Seth Rollins. She did a low blow on Seth Rollins, trying to help Baron Corbin, and still couldn't put Seth away. And after a while, who comes out? None other than Becky Lynch to save her man. She does. Lacey Evans is now out of the match, and other officials are there. Another referee comes out. Seth hits the stomp. Back 1, 2, 3. Seth retains the Universal title, and then there's Seth and Becky celebrating together in the ring, and Becky treating Seth like he's the woman. I thought that was quite fun, and I think they did a fantastic job on this one. Too much influence, you know, there was too much on Becky and Seth being a couple, and that kind of took away from the match. But apart from that, the match itself, with this, you know, interesting stipulation and with a very interesting choice as special guest referee, really worked for me. It's just a shame that it was very much too focused on the Becky and Seth relationship. So for me, I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5. And there you go, guys, that was Stomping Ground for you. Like I stated, every match really worked for me apart from one, and that was Roman versus Drew. But everything else really did work. I feel like this was a pay-per-view much better than it should have been. Let's be honest, after Super Showdown, it was too soon after. I think everyone's like, it's not going to work. I think a lot of people are like, is it good? Is it going to be good? I don't think it's going to be good. We'll give this one a miss. And it was one of the most decent pay-per-views we've seen from WWE in some time. So yeah, what am I going to score Stomping Grounds? Well, I think it's fair to give it a 2.5 out of 5. I think that's a fair score. I definitely recommend watching those 3 matches which I talked about at length, like the Cruiserweight Triple Threat match, the Samoa Joe Ricochet match, and the Kofi Dolph Ziggler match. Those are definitely matches to check out. But what was your favourite match of the night, guys? Leave it in the comments below. And if you do like our content, like I stated at the start of this video, please like, subscribe and press that bell to keep notified. If you want to follow me on the old Twitter, it's at Boyze88, and if you want to follow the channel on the old Twitter, it's at Smack Talk YouTube. That's a U and a tube. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.